great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of disease.
Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm here for the next hour to try to answer as many immigration law-related questions as I can on YouTube and TikTok, although TikTok doesn't seem to be working. This damn thing, I'm so sick of it. I'm going to turn it off, and I will restart my phone and try it again. How are you guys all doing? How is your weekend? What's going on? It is Tuesday. Sorry we didn't have a show yesterday. I was down in Houston, Texas for an asylum interview, and I got back yesterday late afternoon, so I wasn't able to do a show. I got my friend Huli here in the waiting room watching all the comments, and hopefully if we get TikTok running, Hina will be here to help feed me those questions. Let's see who we have in the audience today. Cleon is watching from Trinidad, sending love. Marjig says, hey. Amelie says, greetings from Kenya. Very nice. Ashman says, hello. Why do I prefer a marriage visa as opposed to a K-1? Well, I have videos on this, Ashman from Tunisia. But basically, USCIS sometimes says that they are going to, or I'm sorry, the State Department says they're going to let a USCIS approved I-129F go ahead and expire, and then you have to start all over. I was just talking to somebody by email right before I came on the show, and that is exactly what has happened to him. So he's having to get married and start all over. We have a very special guest today. I'm excited to, what the heck? I'm excited to let her know that, or have her on the show with you. She was the driving force behind a recent victory we had in the immigration court. I'm going to introduce her in just a minute. Her name's Casey. She's one of the attorneys here in the office, and we're excited to have her. We'll let the waiting room fill up a little bit. Got lots of friends here. Dale, Lynn, Ryan, Ms. B, Rich. Rich says no text today. Oh, that might be true. I don't know if I got the text today. I don't know what's going on. All right, let's go ahead and introduce Casey. Casey Plash, how are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm good. How are you, Jim?
Great. Welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you, too.
So Casey and I had a fun trip to Kansas City. Casey went to Casey, and we were able to help a very nice fellow get his green card. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about the case and sort of, obviously not giving away anything confidential, but just talking about sort of the kind of case it was and what we did?
Yeah, sure. So this was a very special case, a very long pending case. This individual was put in removal in 2010, I think
December 28th, 2010.
Wild. Absolutely wild.
Yeah.
And it was due to a criminal issue. And so this case, it went through numerous attorneys. It eventually came to our office in, I think it was 2016. And so long before I had joined the firm. And so I know Jim and some other attorneys had worked to prepare this case for trial back in 2019. And they got pretty close. And then there was a conflict of interest with the judge. So they reset it. It went through COVID. It was reset and reset. And finally, October 2024, we went to trial on this case.
How did you like handling the hearing itself?
I liked it. That was my first hearing. I think I didn't exactly know what to expect. We thought it would go a certain way. There were some surprises, but overall, it went well.
Yeah, and our client got his green card. His spouse was there. He was very happy. She was very happy. It was quite a great day.
Very great day. Very happy day.
We spent a ton of time on that case. I know that we didn't get paid nearly for the amount of time that we spent, but that's okay. We were really, really happy that our client was able to stay. And, you know, he'd been living under the threat of deportation for a really long time. So I know he was nervous the day of the hearing, but I bet he's sleeping a whole lot better. And he certainly sent us some nice emails after the trial.
Yeah, very sweet, very nice. I can't imagine the relief after 14 years to just have that over and done with. It's great.
Awesome. Well, you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself and about your job here at the firm?
Sure. So let's see, I've been working in immigration for quite some time now. I started my career as a paralegal back in 2015, and I did immigration for a while, went to law school, kept the focus on immigration, and I've been with the firm for about a year now. And I do a little bit of everything. We just did this removal defense case. I do a lot of family-based immigration, a lot of asylum, and I'll do a little bit of employment here and there.
What are your favorite kind of cases to work on?
I like all sorts of cases. I think anything that's research and writing intensive, which ends up being a lot of our cases, but especially asylum or the removal defense cases where you need a really good brief and some really good research. I like doing that.
Awesome. And that makes sense because you like me, we were both on Law Journal law school. So yeah, you're very good at sort of going through the flow. Like with deportation, I was telling you guys, and we all sort of agreed that it's really like we needed about 9 dominoes to fall the right way. And if any one of the 9 didn't fall the right way, our client might not have been able to stay. So that you're very good at sort of organizing your thoughts and putting the arguments in order and like being ready for each argument, which I think was really helpful.
Thank you. I think law school teaches you to be very formulaic, looking at the statute and starting from there and going down. So I had some good teachers who taught me that.
We have a nice comment here from one of your clients. Casey was from Ryan Firdaus. Casey was my attorney for my green card case. She's amazing. How about that?
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, very nice. All right. So are you ready to take some questions?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. So I don't know if you know this, but when Tom came on, somebody came on with some like really convoluted fact pattern. I think it was a derivative or, it was like, my dad brought me here from Germany in 1959. And do you think I'm a citizen? Right. So hopefully you won't get one that hard. Let me see if I can find one from TikTok. That might be a nice way for us to start. Here's one. How long will it take my parent to get a green card in the U.S.? We applied in July of 2023, got biometrics in December. That's Rath Nakar.
July 2023. So it's an adjustment.
Yep.
They did biometrics. July 20. Where were we? So it's already been over a year.
Yep.
I would hope pretty soon. I've been seeing adjustments take less than a year.
Yeah.
I think it depends where you live and which field office is handling your case. But
can you talk about that? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like about the field offices? I think that does have a lot to do with it.
I think so too. I do a lot of cases for our DC area, and that includes also Baltimore. And the Baltimore field office seems to be a lot slower than the DC field office. And if your case ends up there, I think they like to schedule interviews. They just take a little bit longer. But on the other hand, DC cases, I've seen some of those move quick. We just had an N-400 set for interview after 4 months of filing, which is really quick.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So actually I have to go to Baltimore. I have a green card interview on Friday. So I really like that office. I think they work hard. I think they just have a ton of cases. I mean, I'm sure Fairfax has a ton of cases too, but man, oh man, Baltimore, they're working on Saturdays. They're doing all kinds of stuff.
Busy.
All right, here's one. Kamala Dean says, I married a green card holder and I applied for the I-130, but not for the work permit and green card. I think maybe they might be confused why they weren't able to file the I-130 and the 45 together. You want to talk about that?
Right. So that all goes to your priority date, right? So when did they file the I-130? You got to go check that visa bulletin. What country are you from? It could be several years before you're eligible.
Yep. Thanks to Congress not increasing the number of visas available. That's right. So there's a backlog on the spouses and children of green card holders, the F2A category. All right, you ready to take a live call, Casey?
All right, I guess so.
Do it. Here's Leah. Hi, Leah.
Oh, hi, Jim. How are you?
Hey, how are you doing?
Doing great. I'm Leah, and this is my husband, Frederick. We are currently in Kenya. So I have a question, and my husband has a question. I'll start with my husband's first. So I told my husband that the only way he can go to America now, we're married, so the only way he can get to America now is with a marriage-based green card. But he has heard from, I don't know, family, cousins that, oh, we got married, but I was able to go to the United States on a student visa. We just wanted to confirm, I guess, that that's not an option for us, and that to try to do that would be a waste of money.
Casey?
Yeah, so I'm sorry, did I miss this? Did you file anything yet, an I-130, or did you ever file anything with immigration?
Yes, we filed an I-130 in April.
Okay.
We've been married since December of 2019.
Yeah, so I think by filing the I-130, you've already shown his intent to immigrate. So I think getting any kind of non-immigrant visa would be a challenge.
Okay, so if we had never, my assumption was that if we were married, there was no way he could get any other kind of visa.
I think that's true.
Tourist, like, it was just a waste of time.
I think generally that's true. You couldn't say that for sure, but I think that's generally true. Don't you, Casey?
I think so. I think it's probably quite discretionary. Maybe they would allow it. I'm not sure if it'd be a waste of time. It might be worth a shot,
But if your family's
Yeah,
if your family's beating you up saying, you dummy, you shouldn't have gotten married, you should have gotten the student visa first, that's all water under the bridge, right? So that's all wasted energy. And you got married, you filed the I-130, and cases in Kenya are taking forever. So the fact that you got it started, they don't usually give people of a marrying age a visit visa to the United States or a student visa. And if they know that they're married to a U.S. citizen, then forget about it. So this is all wasted energy.
Yes. By the way, my husband is actually from Chad.
Okay.
So he's working on English right now.
Oh,
That's why I asked the question for him. So my question was, okay, so we got married, we were living in Chad. We didn't have an idea to immigrate to the United States, but then Chad had this crazy unrest going on, really dangerous. I was in America. I had given birth to my daughter. We were waiting for Chad to settle down, never settled down. Okay, we just want to be together. Where can we live? Okay, let's live in Kenya. We're here. We're working on, we just arrived. So we're getting settled down, getting visas settled, getting things together. I wanted to ask you guys, I assume that any signs that we're living together, having our life together, which of course we are living together, but we need to keep adding that proof to our online account. Is that correct?
like continuously update your USCIS account?
Yes.
So we generally don't send USCIS anything unless they ask for it. We always encourage our clients to continue collecting that relationship evidence even after you file. And then if they ask for it or if it gets set for interview, you have it right here in a packet. But I don't think there's a need to just continuously send them stuff. I don't think they'll look at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So gather it, but don't submit it online.
That's what I would do. Yeah.
I would agree. I would agree with that, unless you feel like you didn't submit much at all at the outset. But generally, Casey's right. If they're not asking for stuff, don't send them stuff.
Okay. Okay. But tell them that we changed our address.
Sure. Sure. And you'll have a chance at the next stage at the National Visa Center to give them more marriage evidence. So you can upload stuff later.
Okay. Okay. I think that was my only question. I think
When
we're
did-
good.
When did you file the I-130?
April of this year.
Okay. So you got probably 14, 15 months for that. And then Kenya's got a 2-year wait on visas. So
Mhm.
it's going to be a while.
Yeah. Well, we're together, so that's the most important thing.
Awesome. Thanks, Leanne.
Thank you.
Isn't it amazing we can talk to people in Kenya about immigration in the United States? It's sort of crazy.
Yeah, gosh, what time was it over there? Must be late.
Oh, geez. They're probably in the same time zone as Egypt, so probably 7-8 hours from now. So yeah,
Okay, not terrible.
No, not terrible.
I
All
should
right,
be
let's see what TikTok says. Please tell me K1 current processing times. My fiance filed I-129 form yesterday.
I got one back in about 4 months.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah. Hopefully it stays that quick.
Nice.
Mhm.
All right. Let's go to Ian. Oh, there he is. Hey, bud.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Doing good. Pardon my voice. So I once called maybe like 4 or 5 months ago with a pretty delicate situation of mine. Long story short, I used to be in an asylum case with my ex-wife where we applied. She was the one applying. We waited for the longest time for 8 years in the case. Then we got divorced maybe 5, 6 years later, which basically I didn't know that would have kicked me out of the case.
Right.
And you told me that, and I wasn't aware of that, but I kept applying on the work permits, which you told me that makes it illegal. So I ended up remarrying later on with my current wife, and I told you that we passed our interview, but the decision has not been made yet from the USCIS. And you told me that this is a very delicate situation, and I'm kind of in the gray area. And to get back to you with an update once I have any news. So just calling to provide you an update that I finally got approval, so I got the green card.
Nice.
Conditional 2 years, so I really appreciate everything you do. But I gotta be honest, I couldn't sleep for maybe 3, 4 nights ever since I spoke with you at that time.
I'm sorry.
Because I appreciate your honesty and your insights. But my current lawyer didn't tell me what you told me. So, and I understood your perspective. So you kind of told me something new that I didn't even know about. But it's a good perspective, good information that I heard from you. So.
So did you have a green card interview or no?
Well, I had my first one at the very beginning of the year, actually the December 28th of last year. And it took them, they only approved it in like 9 months later or 10 months. Yeah, like in September. So it took like a long time, but at least it's a positive result. So I'm really blessed and thankful.
That's a great outcome. That's a great outcome. Thanks, Ian. See you, buddy.
Thank you so much, Jim.
All right. All right. All right. Let's see. Priyanka's here. Let's see what Priyanka has to say. Hi, Priyanka.
Hello, Jim. Good afternoon. Hi, Casey. Nice to meet you. My case here is I came to United States last year, 2023 December, and I came through K1 visa, and me and my husband got married, and we applied for my green card application adjustment of status, and I got my green card, conditional green card back in August, and I started working in United States. And unfortunately, like a week ago, my husband got laid off. And so we did a long distance relationship from August to October this year, only for 3 months. And we are back together right now. But my question is, since he got laid off and he's technically my sponsor, will that be an issue with USCIS when I apply for my 10-year green card? Because he got laid off and he's trying to find another job. It's only been a week that he got laid off. And I'm taking the responsibility with the finances. Will that be a problem for USCIS?
Yeah. So, I mean, when you, so you have your conditional green card. And so when you go to do the 10-year green card, you just have to remove the conditions. You don't have to submit the affidavit of support all over again. So you really just have to provide that updated evidence. So I don't foresee that being an issue.
Okay. Okay. And also, I also read online of USCIS that my husband as a sponsor has to submit I-865 as a proof of change of address for the for my husband, who is a sponsor. Do we have to do that? I-865?
I've never heard of that. I've never heard of an I-865. I've never heard of anybody doing that. Have you, Casey?
No, now that you say that, though, I do think when you sign as a sponsor on the 864, I think you do have to update your address with USCIS.
Okay, because I read it online and it has been changed, like, I think in September it has been updated. So I'm wondering whether he also has to update it.
Well, maybe, yeah, but none of this is going to impact your ability to become a citizen or get your 10-year green card. I wouldn't worry about any of this stuff. The only thing I'd worry about is the stuff that we talked about last time, which is the living apart stuff. Remember, we need to document all the time that you're together,
Yes.
how you spend time together, what your long-term
Yes.
plan is. But other than that, I don't think any of this. I think I'm sad. I'm sad that he got laid off, but it's not going to affect you. You're fine.
Because we are staying together right now. He moved to Michigan and he's also applying for a driver's license today. So we are back together. He's also looking for other jobs in Michigan, so we don't have this distance again. So even though if it is only for 3 months, for applying for citizenship, do I have to wait until 5 years? Or can I wait until the 3 months is completed?
I think for the 3-year citizenship, you have to show that you lived in marital union with your spouse for all 3 years. And if there's a break, I think that would be an issue.
Okay. Okay, maybe I have to apply like after 5 years in that case.
That's all BS to me. I think it's all crap. But the rule is you do have to live together now. The Biden people changed how they interpreted it. I think you can make a run at 3 years plus 3 months, making up the time you were separated. Because then I think you could argue on the day we filed, we had lived together for 3 years. I wouldn't wait 5 years. I'd probably do the extra 3 months. But other than that, it's just, to me, it's so stupid.
Okay. Okay, so it's no problem that if I'm going to support my husband, correct?
Oh, no. In fact, I think it's good marital evidence.
Yes. And also, there is one more question. When I moved from Alabama to Michigan, I updated my address at USCIS, and seems like it did not update it. And when I called USCIS, they told that it is applicable only when there is a current case running with USCIS. And by the time that I updated my address, I already got my green card. But anyway, I updated it just to be sure to be on the safe side. But is that okay, or did I do something wrong?
I think they're doing all address updates in the online portal now. And I think as long as you tried to submit it there, I think you've covered your bases.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for your help, Jim and Casey. Yeah.
Thanks, Priyanka.
Thank you.
All right. All right. We got a comment here. It's a little bit interesting. Martha says, Jim, we currently have 3 cases with HIL. The lawyers on our cases are Andrew, Daphne, and Casey. We've been trying to get in touch for 4 weeks now from the team, but no reply. I doubt that, Martha, but I will make sure that the team follows up with you right away. Okay. So we'll see. But I'm sure they've been trying to get a hold of you. I have no doubt about that. I have an interesting question that came from the comments. I'm going to a pro-Palestine rally this week. Can that affect my adjustment of status? What do you think? I don't think the Palestine issue of it is that important, although I will say one little piece about it. But just in general, what do you think about people going through the adjustment of status process going to protest?
Makes me a little bit nervous.
Yes. Tell me why.
I think you just don't know what's going to happen at these protests, what other people will do, what you'll be caught in the middle of. That makes me a little bit nervous.
Yeah, and I think with Palestinian in particular, they hold you to a higher standard. So I wouldn't say don't go. I'm always up for people exercising their First Amendment rights. But I would say sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. And just because you can go to a protest and have the right to go to a protest, maybe just sit this one out. It's going to be okay probably either way. But yeah, you get in, I remember after George Floyd died, there were a lot of people that got sort of caught up in things, and you can get misidentified and all that stuff. So that can be a problem. I'll tell a funny story real quick. So you might have heard this, Casey, but when Amani was in college, she did a semester or a summer in DC, and she was working for the Arab American Defense Council, I think it was called, AADC. And the one thing her dad told her when she left for DC was, whatever you do, I don't want to see you on satellite. So he had one of those big satellites in his yard. I don't want to see you on CNN. Well, there she was, old Amani, protesting, and her dad saw her on TV. So she got in a little bit of trouble. All right, you got time for one more question?
Sure.
All right, cool. There was one from here. This person keeps spamming everybody. I'll just do this one myself because I have the visa bulletin. My in-laws filed I-130 in October of 2015, F3 category. Any idea when our file will be approved, please? So I looked up the final action date. It's April of 2010 and year 2015. So they're not working on those cases when they know there's not a priority date becoming current anytime soon. So I think, Brajesh, you got probably 5 or 6 more years at least, maybe 3 or 4 before you hear from USCIS, and then they'll leave you for the National Visa Center and all that stuff. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're not touching them.
All right. Let's go to Sam, and that'll be Casey's last question for today.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Hi, Sam. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Thank you so much. Maybe you remember me?
I do.
Yeah. So yesterday I received email from USCIS that the last application for asylum was closed, and they restart my application again with the new receipt number because I think there is a mistake.
This is the one. This was the one where they just all of a sudden, out of the blue, said your asylum case is closed with no interview or no nothing, right?
Yeah, nothing. And when I check online the status of my case by receipt number, it shows the next step is an interview in person. Does that mean I have interview soon?
So let's talk about. Okay. So the first case that you filed. Sorry to jump in, Casey, but I remember, Sam. The first case that you filed. When did you file it? Roughly.
February 6, 2023.
Oh, so last year.
Yeah.
And you didn't have an interview or anything?
Yeah, nothing.
And how long after you arrived? When did you arrive in the United States?
August 5, 2022.
So August 5. So you filed right under 6 months, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so then that case was pending for like a year and a half. Do you know which asylum office had your case?
Virginia.
And did you leave the United States at all?
No.
And then how did you find out that, or tell me what happened then? Yeah, what happened next?
So I think before 2 months, my attorney told me that my application was closed and forward to the court without mention any reason.
Yeah.
So I check my A number by EOIR, and then I found the case which forward to the court under another name, not under my name.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. So I went to the asylum office here in New Jersey because I changed my address from Virginia to New Jersey. And he said, okay, we fixed this issue. And this is from our mistake. So no action from you to do. But yesterday I received email from my attorney from USCIS that I have to do for fingerprint again in Virginia. And they say a new second asylum application.
This is weird.
Yeah. But when I check the case online, I saw there is the next step. It's an interview in person.
On the old case or the new case?
New case, the old case. When I checked, it was the this case is closed.
Okay, but let's put all that to the side for a minute. I just want to ask one question.
Mm-hmm.
Does the asylum office know that you live in New Jersey now?
So when I went to New Jersey, asylum office in New Jersey, I told them I changed my address, but I didn't receive receipt that I changed my address until now.
And when you say,
He said, okay, I will change your address, and he said now your case here in New Jersey,
but where are your biometrics? Where are your biometrics scheduled for?
in Virginia actually. Yeah, I don't know. I think on Friday I will go also to this asylum office here in New Jersey to ask him what happened. But I want your opinion. What do you think?
I think I'd give them about 6 months to sort this out. If the online portal is saying interview is to be scheduled, and if you don't get an interview in about 6 months, then you probably should call me back, and we might. I don't know if we would sue them over this, but we need to get clarity on it. It seems like things are very messy right now. I think we need to clean it all up, because you should only have one asylum case. You should not have a second asylum case. They might penalize you for saying you filed the second case too late. There's lots of things that need to get fixed. And what I would do is I would probably reach out to the U.S. attorney, or I'd probably just write a letter to the asylum office and say, I'm going to sue you if you guys don't fix all this. This is ridiculous. It's probably going to take some fighting and back and forth, but I'm worried that they're going to mess with your asylum case because of whatever mistake it is that they made.
Actually, when I read the letter from USCIS, the same date for the first application, they didn't change the.
Oh, okay.
The same date.
Yeah. So there's a different case number.
Yeah, different receipt.
The A numbers are the same and the receipt date is the same.
Yeah. The A number is the same.
All right. Well, I'd give them 6 months or so, and then just see what happens. I think you just got to wait.
But sir, it's they schedule my fingerprint on November 5. I have to go, so I can't wait like 6 months.
Well, yeah, do whatever they say to do. I'm just saying, if nothing has really moved in 6 months besides fingerprints, then call me back and let me know.
Okay, so last question, please. What it mean the next step? It's interview in person. Is it mean they want to schedule my interview, or this is usually they?
I can jump in. I've seen that online status for a number of our cases that have been pending for years. I think once you do the biometrics and turn in what you're supposed to turn in, that's just the online status they set, and you'll probably be waiting for a bit.
So it's not mean.
It doesn't mean they're going to schedule it soon. No, unfortunately.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye, Sam. See you, buddy.
Okay, bye.
All right. I just have to throw out one more little question for you and me to kick around, Casey. Then I'll let you get back to work. Is there a way to report someone that you know is seeking out American citizens to marry for citizenship? That would be a crime. So there are people that do law enforcement types that aren't us. We don't help mess with people's immigration status, but I would think that your local police or the FBI would be very interested in that, Kirsten. Thank you, Casey. Thanks for being here with you. That was great. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed having you on. We'll have you back.
Thanks for having me. It was good.
Awesome. Have a good rest of the day.
All right. You too.
Yep. All right. So I want to shift gears for a minute. Maybe I'll take a TikTok question, and then I want to talk a little bit about this bullshit that happened at the Madison Square Garden rally, the rally of hate that the Republicans and Donald Trump had on Sunday. I'm going to play you a little audio. It's a little bit of the audio of the horrible things that were said at that rally. But before I do, I'm going to go back to TikTok and see if I can answer a question. All right. Can USCIS cancel the green card if there's marriage fraud? Yes, they can. USCIS can cancel your green card, take away your green card, take away the green card, and generally deport you if there was marriage fraud. That's all on the table. All right, let's go ahead and get the audio going here. All right. Let me make sure you guys can hear this. I'll turn it up. It's really disgusting. Is it working? I don't think it's working. No, that's not good. Here we go.
And these Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country. There's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. All right. Heck yeah. It's a cool black guy with a thing on his head. What the hell is that? A lampshade? Look at this guy. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm just kidding. That's one of my buddies. He had a Halloween party last night. We had fun. We carved watermelons together. It was awesome.
As the first Samoan Malaysian low IQ former California prosecutor ever to be elected president, it was just a groundswell of popular support.
She is the devil, whoever screamed that out. She is the Antichrist.
She is some sick bastard, that Hillary Clinton, huh? What a sick son of a bitch. The whole fucking party, a bunch of degenerates, lowlives, Jew haters, and lowlives. Every one of them.
We need to slaughter this other people.
America is for Americans and Americans only.
When I say the enemy from within, the other side goes crazy, becomes a sound. Oh, how can he say? No, they've done very bad things to this country. They are indeed the enemy from within. But this is who we're fighting.
But they
America is for Americans only. That's what they said. They called Puerto Rico an island of trash, garbage. These people are despicable. Despicable. I'm so sick of the vile hatred that is coming out of Donald Trump's mouth. Stephen Miller. This guy named Grant Cardone said they should kill the Democrats. You got this comedian telling racist jokes like black people eating watermelon and Puerto Ricans not pulling out. Astaghfirullah is right, Munther. Astaghfirullah. That is right, Munther. But we have to do more than say astaghfirullah. We'll say astaghfirullah. That's what you say when you sort of want to be forgiven for bad things or even hearing bad things. But it's just really something. Really loathsome behavior. Loathsome behavior. This is their closing argument. Their closing argument is hate, and they're trying to rally up the Proud Boys types, the people that brought you January 6th. This is what the Republican Party is ending with. They have nothing but hate, nothing but vile bile. It's just horrible. I know that a lot of you are worried about Trump winning. If Trump wins, we're in trouble. There's no doubt about it. If Trump wins, immigration's in trouble, the country's in trouble. But I don't think that Trump is going to win. I think that the Democratic Party is going to win. I think that Kamala Harris is going to be the next president of the United States. And you guys know how pessimistic I was when Joe Biden was still in the race. So I hope that goodness wins out, that hope wins out, that peace and love win out. Because that stuff that I saw, they didn't pick Madison Square Gardens for any random reason. They picked Madison Square Gardens because in 1939, they had a Nazi rally there. There was a Nazi rally in New York in 1939, and there was a Nazi rally in 2024. This is what we're seeing. What we're seeing is the white power structure losing control, knowing that this country is no longer lily white. And you have Stephen Miller saying things like America is for Americans first, right? And so they cannot fathom having a black president. Obama being president sent them into the stratosphere. And now the idea that there could be a black woman president, it's going to be worse, right? It's going to be worse. They cannot handle the idea that they're not going to be the slave owners anymore. And they're losing their minds. They're losing their minds. That's right, Alejandro. They're losing their minds. Hey, look who's here. It's our old friend Mo. Hey, Mo.
Hey, can you hear me?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. My mic, I got an error. It said the mic wasn't working or something. I have a couple. I'm super stressed about this election, man. It's just like, holy crap! I can't stop watching.
You have lots of reasons to be worried. I understand. I can't stop watching it either. I try to stay off it. I if I get on MSNBC, it's sort of all over. So I'm trying to live my life, and it's a week away.
This is a funny little story about that. I just started going back to the gym, and I was on the treadmill, and they have like a TV screen attached to them. And of course, I'm in Texas, and so the guy next to me, I'm watching MSNBC, and the guy next to me is watching Fox, right? And I could see the banner. They were talking. This is a couple of days ago. They were talking about Trump or whatever. I guess when she started calling him a fascist, and I see the banner at the bottom of the screen on the Trump's. I can't hear what he's saying, but I can see the banner, and it said, "Trump is the only candidate promoting." Peace or something like that, and where she's promoting hate, and I was just like, what the hell? What world are they living in? It's crazy.
It's La La Land. And I think she's going to win the election, but I think they're going to cheat and do everything they can to steal the election.
Yeah, that's what I think too. And all the fake elector stuff and all that crap. Anyway, my question about immigration. So my priority date is March 22nd March 2022. So almost like 2.5 years. Yeah. The visa bulletin moved up a little bit, and we're in January of 22. So like
I'm looking at it right now. So you're getting close.
I'm getting close. Of course, that's just the USCIS piece of it, but I'm hoping that Chile, because it's not the Philippines or something, that it's going to move faster. I hope. When I had my interview, when my son petitioned for me a couple of years ago, I guess 3 or 4 years ago now, it only took like a month to get scheduled. So I'm hoping that it goes like that. And it was during COVID.
Where in your case, where do things stand? You've paid the fees. You've done all NVC stuff, or no?
No, nothing. They haven't approved the I-130.
Okay, so that's a little trouble. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was hoping to get it, all done before the election, but it's not going to happen, obviously. I wanted to kind of tell you an anecdote. So Chile is on the ESTA countries, right? One of the ESTA countries, ESTA visas, and he's coming in December, and he's been here already like 3 times to visit me for a month and stuff like that. He's never overstayed or anything, and he's coming in December, and he had to renew his ESTA expired a couple of months ago. So he renewed it, and it got approved right away. And then last week he got an email saying that your visa is canceled. Your ESTA is canceled. No reason, no nothing, just canceled. And I know that this question comes up here for people from England or something, people that have ESTAs, and they ask about this one. So I wanted to let you know. And then, so we didn't know what to do. Do we email the embassy? What do we do? Or the State Department? We didn't know. So we said, let's just apply again and see what happens. So he just put the application through again, and it got approved. Of course, he's like a month away from the trip. I don't know if it's going to get canceled at the last minute again, or if it's because the I-130 is getting close. I have no idea why they canceled it. But
and just to be clear, when he applied for the ESTA, they know he has an I-130 pending, right?
And I've never filed an ESTA application, but he said that they didn't ask him, and I've told him a million times, like, don't lie, don't say anything. If he gets stopped at the border, like when you get off the plane, like you need to say you're coming to visit your spouse and all that stuff.
I've never filed an ESTA application either. I could see what you're saying being accurate. I could see them not asking. I'd be surprised if they didn't ask, but that's hopefully true. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but I know that the ESTA question comes up. People always ask, like, can they come and visit me? Can they come visit the?
Sure.
So I would say yes, but just be careful with this cancellation at the last minute thing. I'll let you know when my I-130 gets approved. It's been so long, and it totally makes sense that what you said before that they do this sort of delay crap so that the relationships fall apart, kind of thing. But
that's not your case. That's not
No.
your case is just the backlog. It's not
Yeah.
personal.
all right, well, thank you for everything you do. I always watch your
Keep me
shows.
posted. Oh, see you, buddy.
I will. Take care. Bye.
All right. My man Rick is in the waiting room. He's been waving his hand. He's been heating up the message line. So I think we got to get to Rick. What's up, Rick?
How are you doing, Jim?
I'm good, buddy. How you doing?
Good, good, dude. Thank you. Nice to talking to you. It's been a while since I've been following you all over the medias.
Awesome.
And this is the situation that we have. Me and my wife, we got in the USA in a tourist visa on 2000. We overstayed the visa, and we have 2 kids over there, and we overstayed for 11 years actually. And then for family members who was diagnosed with cancer, we came back to our home country, Argentina. And then my oldest son, Kobe, went and filed for us for the I-130. We waited for him to be 21. And now, then we went to the whole process, He was 21 on February 17, 2023. We waited for the whole process. Everything was fine. Approved. We went to the Argentina consular embassy, and the officer denied our visa because he didn't believe that we did enter the country with the purpose of tourism. He said that we went to work. My wife got really nervous when he asked him this kind of question. That was 24 years ago. So she said, I think I started working in a month and a half, something like that. And then I went in to the interview and I said, when you enter the country, at what time you starting to work? And I said, because I remember 3 months. The thing is that he didn't believe that we entered the country with intentions of tourism. And also, I just want to point, my wife went on 2015 to ask for a tourist visa, and she was denied because they say, oh, you need to wait the 10 years bar, okay? So my question to you is, what can we do? We are in the bubble right here. And besides my youngest son, Luca, he's 19, he's disabled. He was born with cerebral palsy. And I told him this to the officer, and he said, that doesn't even matter right now.
Well, no, he couldn't do anything. The officer had to reject the visa. It had to be rejected because you have the bar and because they think you made a misrepresentation. So you need a waiver, but the problem is you probably need waivers for lots of different things. You need a waiver for the fraud and a waiver for the overstay, right? So when did you actually depart the United States?
On February 8, 2011.
Oh, so you've already been out for 10 years.
More than 10 years, yeah.
So the only thing, okay, so, and your kids, have they stayed in the United States or were they with you in Argentina?
No, Kobe came with us and he was back to US when he was 16. And Luca cannot do it. I mean, he needs help. He can barely walk by himself. He needs like somebody to take care of him 24/7.
So the problem is that children are really only a qualifying relative for waivers for the purposes of solving criminal stuff, but for misrepresentations, it's only for spouses or parents. So you don't have any parents in the United States, do you?
No, I don't. And my wife either.
Right. So I don't think you have a qualifying relative for the waiver. That's the problem. So I don't know if you're going to be able to come. I don't think you have a qualifying relative. I mean, I think it's very sad what's going on with your son, but I think that wouldn't solve the misrepresentation issue.
With Luca, with the youngest one?
So in order to get a waiver for the
Yes.
in order to get a waiver for the misrepresentations, you have to show there'd be extreme hardship to a spouse or a parent. I don't think. I don't think you can do either. I don't think you're going to be able. Did they invite you to file for a waiver? Because I don't think there's one to be filed. Did they say anything about a waiver?
You know, I've been, you know, searching in Google all the time, and no, he didn't say anything.
And not on the form?
He didn't say about anything waiver or 601 or anything like that.
Yeah, I just don't think there's one available for you.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
So if the only issue, if the reason that they weren't letting you in was because of a crime, then your kids could qualify for the waiver. But for misrepresentations and for unauthorized presence, and really for you, you've done your 10 years, so you got the 10-year bar taken care of. But as far as the misrepresentations, your kids aren't qualifying relatives.
Okay. Is there any way we could? Is there any way we can appeal this, or?
I don't think so. I mean, you could try to.
Okay.
You could try to make the case that you didn't really come to work, but they have so much discretion. I don't think they're going to reverse it.
Yeah, I called your office yesterday so they can help me. I spoke with Julia, and then Juan gave me a call, and I explained the situation to him, and he says he's going to be getting back to me, but he hasn't yet.
I'll talk to him, but I don't think there's a waiver for you.
All right.
Thanks, Rick.
That's not good.
No,
Thank you, Jim.
You got it. All right, all right. That was our friend Rick. Let's see what TikTok has to say. Let's see. I would like to know if EB2, NIW, and a permanent residency can be requested at the same time. Let's take a look at the visa bulletin. No, there's a backlog. So you have to do the I-140 first, the NIW, get that approved, and then you have to wait for your priority date to become current. So the answer to that question is no. Charlie is here. Hello, Charlie.
Hi. I am calling for a friend. He applied for, he's a U.S. citizen, applied for his spousal green card and her at the time minor child. She had a friend help her with the original application, who, you know, was a friend of a friend who worked once upon a time at a law office. The application was accepted. They had their green card interview, which lasted less than 5 minutes. No questions were asked of any relevance. And then a person came out to their house about 2 weeks later after the green card. Nobody was home. And that was in 2022. So he finally got a lawyer to help with the case as to what's going on. And the actual day of the interview, I found a mistake on her question where she answers the questions, have you been convicted of a crime? And she put no when the actual answer is yes. And there's an explanation, but it had to do with, the case got dismissed and so on and so on. But is that answer enough to send a case to FDNS?
Well, I think you'd have to ask a lot more questions. Like, okay, so we have a U.S. citizen who's sponsoring a foreign national for
right. She's here originally under an asylum application in 2018.
Okay.
Then she got married. Then they got married in 2021 and applied for a green card in 2022.
When did the person arrive in the United States?
2018.
And they filed for asylum right away.
They filed for asylum within a couple of months. I think 4 months of being here.
Okay. And what was the crime that the person was charged with?
It was some traffic misdemeanors, which got dismissed. But so again, ignorance is part of it. But she's Chinese. Her friend that helped her with her application was Chinese, and I'm sure she just didn't ask her all the questions. And my friend, the lady who's the spouse, she just thought that because the case was dismissed that she answered no. Yeah. And in the meantime, the lawyer has written USCIS. It's in Albuquerque, who's had three changes of supervisors. There's no current supervisor, and supplied additional information that the client incorrectly filled out the form. Here's the reasons. Here's a copy of the court order and all that kind of stuff. And USCIS has never responded back to 3 inquiries by the current lawyer as to the status. And all the lawyer can say is that it's in FDNS, and other than suing, there's nothing I can do. But is that one thing enough? Answering incorrectly, which I call, they would take as lying on the form. Is that potentially enough?
I bet they don't even know about that. I bet that's I mean, dismissed traffic misdemeanors, nobody cares about that. That's
right.
That's not why they're in front of the fraud unit. It's something else.
Okay. Because that's my question. I've told my friend that potentially, assuming that he knows there's something that is out there, they just can't send something to FDNS because somebody has a gut feeling. They've probably based it on more than that. And the lawyer said the only way you're going to find out is to sue. Does that make sense? They're not going to answer you.
I would push back on that a little bit. Number one, I think they can just send them to FDNS, the fraud unit.
Okay.
Because of a gut. I think that's for sure.
Okay.
Number two, I view, okay, so, number one on the checklist was the person out of status at the time that they got married? Right?
No, right, because they were here on asylum.
Well, but here's what I want to say. So you should know, and everybody should know, that up until about 3 or 4 years ago, the asylum office was kept completely different and separately from USCIS.
Okay.
So in my mind, traditional USCIS views people seeking asylum as probably committing some kind of fraud, or at the very least, desperate to stay in the United States, and such would then marry someone for a green card or pay someone to get a green card. So I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's in the rules or anything, but I do think that sometimes they view asylum seekers almost the same as they view people straight out of status.
Okay. So they did issue her whatever it is, the work permits, the authorization to work, but that's just a formality.
That's right. Wait, hold on. I have one other thing to say. Is there anything in her asylum case that might be untrue or that would make her maybe ineligible to receive a green card?
So the only answer I can do that her son who was didn't apply, he applied for asylum also. He was, I think, 20. His case was rejected, denied by immigration.
Yeah.
Now I know in looking at you got to give the reasons why you're applying for asylum, and everything was written in Chinese. I don't know whether they had an English interpretation, but in looking at the two applications side by side, it looks like her information that she applied for a reason for asylum was similar, if not an exact copy of what his information was. They used the same wording and terminology, but his was denied, and in the meantime, he's reapplied. But that's the only thing that I can think of. The other red flags were, just to let you know, she was divorced in October of 21. They got married in December of 21, and they applied for their green card in April or May of 21. So that's a pretty quick divorce and marriage. However, they have known each other for 5 years, something like that, but didn't get an official divorce until October of 21.
All right, so this brings up one of my Charlie. I'm so glad you called. This was a really great call because you're touching on lots of my favorite topics. And here's the $1 million question. Ready?
Yes.
Did the husband, the ex-spouse, was that person also on the asylum claim?
No. Now, he lived in China originally, came to he did not come over with her and her 2 children originally to the US. He stayed in China. He came to the US to help her with the kids a couple of years later. So he was in the US. under whatever kind of visa he had legally, and then he got a work permit, and he stayed with her to help raise the kids. But then they got divorced.
How do you get a work permit?
He got issued the work authorization card. I've seen it. So I don't know how he applied for it, but that he might have applied for asylum after she came here. I don't have an exact answer for that. I believe it's because he applied for asylum separately from her after he came to the US and got his work authorization card. After that, they got divorced, and then but he went back. When they got divorced, he went back to China. He's in China, will not come back here now, and so that also brings up the question. So if someone has applied for asylum, which says, "Boy, I'm going to be religiously persecuted" and all that kind of stuff, then they go back to the country that they were supposedly persecuted from. That's kind of a red flag to me. If it was so bad, why did you go back?
Anytime somebody enters the United States married to someone overseas and then gets divorced and then quickly marries a U.S. citizen, that's always going to trigger a fraud investigation.
Okay.
I got to go, Charlie. I got to go, buddy.
Sure.
Thanks for the call. That was a great call.
Great. Thanks.
Bye, Charlie. All right, everybody. That'll do it for today's show. Hooli? Oh, tomorrow. Tomorrow's our Halloween show at 11. We'll be back at 11 tomorrow. I got to remember to bring my costume. I hope you guys all bring your costume. I hope my costume fits. And we'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central. 11 a.m. Central. We'll be back on TikTok, back on YouTube. Have a great night, everybody. Big up to all the Yardies. And thanks for being here.
I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion.